I woke up with a needle in my arm and a machine beeping beside me. For a moment, I thought it was a dream. Then I noticed the gray curtains, the four-drip, the nurse adjusting my oxygen. "You fainted," she said softly. "Severe exhaustion. Your blood pressure dropped." My throat was too dry to respond. My body didn't even hurt. It just felt empty, like it had finally let go after carrying too much for too long. I glanced at the clock. 12 hours. I'd been out for 12 hours, and not a single call from my family. No missed FaceTime from my mom. No voicemail from my sister. Not even a simple "Are you okay?" Just one message. "Claire, hey, can you still cover my car payment? It's due today." That was it. I stared at the screen, stunned. I was lying in a hospital bed, heart racing again, this time from anger. And all she wanted was money. No concern. No care. Just another bill for me to handle. That's when something inside me finally broke. Not loudly. Not like glass shattering. Quietly, like a rope pulled tight for years, finally snapping. In that moment, I stopped pretending I had a real family. Because real families show up. They don't forget the person holding everything together. The one working nonstop, fixing problems, helping everyone breathe while slowly suffocating. I used to think if I gave more, worked harder, stayed strong, they'd love me the same way. That belief died somewhere between the stiff hospital sheets and the silence of my phone. Later, the nurse returned with a clipboard and asked if I had someone to call to pick me up. I laughed. Actually laughed. "No," I said. "It's just me." She nodded like she understood. On the ride home in a cheap car I could barely afford, I stared out the window and made a decision. I wasn't going back. Not to the apartment draining my paycheck. Not to the job draining my energy. Not to the role I'd been forced into my whole life. The fixer. The provider. The one who absorbs everything with a smile. I was done. 3 days later, I made one move. Just one. And suddenly my mom called, panicked, breathless. For the first time, I didn't answer. "My name is Riley Morgan. And wherever you're watching this from, stay with me, because the day I collapsed was the day I finally stood up." I didn't grow up in chaos, not the loud kind. No yelling. No broken plates. Just quiet, constant need. A late bill here. A tuition fee there. A car repair. A birthday no one planned for. So I stepped in. I paid. I smiled. I watched them give credit to someone else. You learn early in a life like that, your pain doesn't matter. So I became useful. At 15, I managed the family schedule. At 17, I helped with taxes. At 22, I was paying part of my parents' mortgage. Not because they asked, because they expected it. No one ever asked if I was okay. If I liked my job. If I needed rest. To them, I didn't have needs. Just endurance. And my sister Claire? She was the fragile one. The emotional one. The one who needed constant help and endless second chances. She borrowed money every month. Sometimes with guilt. Sometimes with promises. "I'd do it for you," she'd say. But we both knew she wouldn't. The one time I tried to say no, she cried. Called me selfish. Said I was abandoning her. So I gave in. I always gave in. And every time I needed them, silence. When I had a panic attack at work, my mom told me to drink tea and rest. When I needed help moving, Claire had a nail appointment. So I carried everything alone in the rain. Still, I kept showing up. Birthdays. Gifts. Support. Even when I was hurting too. They called me selfless. I called it survival. Because I knew if I stopped, they'd turn on me. Call me cold. Ungrateful. Too much. So I kept going until my body gave out. Until I collapsed after days of nonstop work. Until I woke up in a hospital bed, completely alone. That's betrayal. Not loud or dramatic. Quiet. The kind that smiles at you while draining everything you have. The kind that calls you strong so they don't have to carry anything themselves. And I carried it all until I couldn't anymore. Until I had to choose between being loved and staying alive. And for the first time, I chose me. Coming home from the hospital felt surreal, like stepping into someone else's life. A version of me still belonging to people who never truly claimed me. The apartment was exactly as I left it. A pile of laundry on a chair, 2 unopened bills on the counter, a half-eaten protein bar on the desk. But now I saw it for what it really was, not a life, a trap. My body was still weak, bruises marking my arms from hitting the floor. I hadn't even showered when my phone buzzed again. Claire, I need that car payment. They're calling nonstop.
No.
How are you?
No.
What happened? Just her urgency, always for herself. I stared at the message, then typed nothing. 30 seconds later, a new text. OMG, why didn't you say anything? Are you okay? Also about the car. Even now, she only checked in to check out with something in her hand. I had collapsed from exhaustion from holding them up while they never showed up for me. My chest tightened. Don't go back. Not into the cycle. Not into the excuses. So I did something I never had before. I turned off my phone. I sat in silence for hours, drank water, showered, ate real food, and let sunlight creep across the floor. It was allowed in now because I was actually here. Later, I logged into my email. Another notification. Rent due. Automatic payment scheduled for Claire M. Cosigner Riley Morgan. I stared. It hit me. I hadn't been helping them. I had been holding them. They weren't struggling, they were dependent on me. It should have made me feel guilty. It didn't. It made me feel awake. I opened my notes app, typed one line. I'm not your backup plan anymore. I sent it to Claire. Her reply. Wait, what does that mean? You're just going to bail, Riley? This isn't like you. No, it wasn't like me. The old me. The one who always said yes, gave endlessly, swallowed her needs, didn't survive that hospital bed. I did. And I was about to make sure they never forgot it. That night, I didn't sleep. Not from anxiety, but because I was awake in a way I hadn't been in years. Mind, heart, body synced, finally calm. I opened my laptop at 1:23 a.m., pulled up a folder, labeled Someday. Screenshots of co-signed accounts, unpaid bills, loan applications I'd funded, every line of debt I had quietly carried. I opened 3 tabs. Removed myself from Claire's car loan. Canceled autopay on my parents' overdue electricity bill. Updated my address on every account linking me to their finances. Relief, not revenge. I wasn't taking from them. I was giving myself my life back. By 4 a.m., it was done. The next day, I bought a planner. Simple, clean pages. Therapy appointments, meal prep, solo trip budgets, new job goals. No spaces for emergencies or last-minute rescues. 3 days later, the phone started ringing. Mom, Claire, Dad. Why are payments bouncing? Riley, what's going on? Finally, they felt what I had carried for years. Without me to catch them, their lives started unraveling fast. Group chats pinged every 5 minutes. Mom, we're in trouble. This isn't funny. Dad, we thought you'd give a heads up. Claire, you're destroying your own family. I laughed. Where was that energy when I was in the hospital? Where was family then? Claire had gone live on Instagram that day, filtered, laughing, while I was hooked up to fluids, too dizzy to stand, wondering if anyone would notice if I disappeared. No guilt. Only clarity. They couldn't lean on me anymore. They didn't take it well. My mom left a voicemail, sniffles turning into a plea. Riley, I don't understand. And for the first time in my life, I didn't have to respond. You've always been the strong one, they said. We've depended on you, yes, but that's because we trust you. You're part of this family. You don't just leave. I replayed that line. You don't just leave. But they did. They left me in a hospital bed, my body failing under the weight of years spent holding everyone else up. They left when I needed a ride, a hand, a moment of strength from them. Even once. And now I wasn't leaving. I was letting go of the idea that I owed them my body, my energy, my money just to be loved. Letting go of being the backup plan. Because the truth was, they never feared losing me. They feared losing access to me. That panic they felt? That was just silence catching up. Guilt used to be my leash. A disappointed sigh from Mom, a snarky comment from Claire, a long pause from Dad. Any one of those and I'd fold, giving money, covering bills, saying yes while my body begged me to say no. That's what they raised me for. Obedience disguised as care. So when I went silent, I knew what would come, and it came fast. Panic shifted to pity. I guess you've changed. We always knew you'd pull something like this. You used to be kind. They weren't asking for help anymore. They were trying to shame me into coming back. And for a moment, it almost worked. Claire sent a photo of herself at a bus stop in the rain. No words. My heart twisted because part of me still believed it was my job to protect her. That I'd be heartless if I didn't. Then I remembered a rainy day months ago. I'd called her from the ER parking lot, drenched, terrified, alone. Her reply? Oof, that sucks. Can you still Venmo me for the phone bill, though? I closed the app. No dollar cent. Instead, I opened my calendar and booked a therapy session, my first in years. The therapist was warm, patient, didn't ask why. And I cracked. All of it came out. The couch sleeping, the medical bills, the silence, the years of pretending to be strong because no one else would. She asked one question that changed everything. What makes you think love is something you have to earn? No one had ever asked me that. I had no answer. Only realization, the pain I carried wasn't just from what they did, it was from what I believed I had to keep doing. So I rewrote it. Said no to draining requests. Let texts sit unread. Unsubscribed emotionally and digitally. For the first time, I started building connections that felt like warmth, not weight. Joined a women's wellness group. Met people who actually listened. Cooked for myself. Laughed, the kind that shakes your shoulders without feeling like rebellion. I wasn't healed, but I was healing. And the guilt shrank. Because when someone only loves you as long as you're useful, that's not love. It's dependence disguised as affection. And I wasn't here to feed it anymore. The day I moved into my new apartment, I didn't post it. No announcement, no corner shot Instagram photo, just me, a few boxes, and a deep breath in a space with my name on the lease. Bare walls, half-empty fridge, but full. I set up my desk by the window, started building the wellness business I'd delayed for years. Small steps, but mine. Weeks later, a handwritten letter arrived from Mom. One sentence inside. Family forgives. No apology. No ownership. Just the usual code. You broke it. Now fix it. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I laughed quietly, slid it under a stack of papers, and went on with my day. Claire texted days later. Hey, hope you're good. I miss you. Can we talk sometime? No mention of the hospital, the years of guilt, or how she only called when she needed something. She just wanted back in without doing the work to earn it. I could have responded. Could have let her back slowly. But some people don't want to rebuild. They want to repeat. And I'm not a soft place to land for someone who lit the fire behind me. I muted the thread. Deleted the contact. Let silence hold its shape. Not as punishment, but as proof I could build something whole without inviting the wrecking crew. I didn't need to be the bigger person to finally feel tall. Now my life is quiet, not lonely. I have a morning routine. A real mattress. A group chat with women who celebrate my wins without asking for a slice. I still think about them, but with distance that expands with truth, not shrinks with time. Peace isn't loud. It's the sound of a kettle hissing softly, sunlight sliding across the floor, a to-do list with my name at the top, not anyone else's. I finished my first coaching course, started a program for women like me, the overgivers, the invisible backbones. I tell them, you are not selfish for choosing peace. You are not cruel for saying no. You are not cold. You're just finally free. I whispered it to myself in my little apartment, barefoot, tea in hand. You're not cold. You're free. Silence is not distance. It's power. The most profound exits are quiet, full-hearted, steady-breathed. No revenge. No war. Just walking away. I didn't cut them off. I just stopped showing up for people who wouldn't sit with me in a hospital room. And if that makes me the villain in their story, fine. I'll be the villain with a business, a bed I sleep well in, and a life they'll never borrow again. This chapter ends with no bang. Just a quiet kitchen, a candle burning low, and the knowledge that I didn't lose a family. I left a trap behind, and I'll never go back.